Hey friends, 11 months ago to the day, I saw a belt online that I really wanted to buy. It was an Hermes belt. I fell in love with the buckle and I wanted to get one, as I've just said. However, I didn't want to buy one at the time for two reasons. One, they're hideously expensive, and two, I was very overweight. I needed to lose a significant amount of weight, and I have done that. I have lost about 40 kilos in 11 months. It's far too fast and I don't recommend anyone does it. However, it has meant that now I get to make myself a absolutely gorgeous Nova Nappa belt. So today I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to make a belt that would cost probably 400 or 500 quid if I bought it from Hermes themselves. I managed to source a absolutely gorgeous buckle for this. It's the one I saw a year ago, and it's the one I have wanted ever since. The great thing about these belts is that I can make, these belt buckles, is that I can make a zillion belt straps for this. I can make a zillion belts for this buckle, and I can interchange them as and when I please. So today I'm going to make a Nova Nappa belt for my Hermes belt buckle, and that is that. So I'm going to be using a 1.4 millimeter Nova Nappa. I've had it split down, and I'm going to be backing it with laminating it to some bonded leather. So it's a 0.6 millimeter bonded leather. And the reason you split it and then build the thickness back up, I get a lot of people asking me this, is because there are some leathers that are very soft. Nova Nappa is one of them. It is a phenomenal leather. It ages beautifully, and if you look after it, it'll last forever. It does pick up a lovely patina. However, it is freakishly soft. It is probably one of the softest calf skins you can buy. So what you'll do if you want to have some structure to your leather is laminate it, so glue it entirely to something with a lot more stiffness. In this case, I'm using bonded leather. You can back it with a split, you can back it with lots of different things, and if you want me to do a video about types of reinforcement, let me know. Subscribe, comment down below if you want me to do a video about different types of reinforcement, how and when to use them, and I would love to do that video for you. I don't know if there's any interest in it, so let me know. But that's what you do. So if you have a very soft leather, you reinforce it if you want to use it for a belt, because belts are one of the highest wearing items you have. They're constantly moving, they're constantly being pulled and pushed and squished and prodded by your body as they're attached to you. And as a way to counteract that years of abuse, you need to reinforce them. Now, with a leather like a bridal leather, which are designed in their very nature, in the way that they're tanned, they're designed for heavy use on a horse. Now, this is not, it is. Nova Nappa is a very hard wearing leather. However, it will show the wear that you put into it. And I wanted it to be a bit stiffer than that. I wanted it to be something that would show the test of time, but also age with me. I have bridal leather belts. I'm going to make a bridal leather belt for this buckle, in fact. It's a 1.5 inch belt buckle. You'll see it at the end. And it is something that is going to be with me for decades. It's a really gorgeous buckle. So this is going to be the start of hours and hours. In fact, I think I stitched this over 3 days. It took a long time to stitch. and I will work out exactly how many stitches it is, and I'll put that in the title. It's probably why you clicked on this video, because it is hundreds and hundreds of stitches. They're 3mm apart, and I'm using a 0.45mm thread. It's a very, very thin thread if you're coming from the bridal industry or the more sort of rugged leather work. It is a really, really thin thread, and there are probably thousands of stitches on this. But again, you will have known that because you saw in the title. These are pricking irons that I got from Pro Italia Plus. They're their graphite range. I was weighing up between getting these and getting some from Blanchard. Now, Blanchard ones are very, very famous. They're used by a lot of very respectable leather workers. However, they are not designed to prick all the way through. Blanchard pricking irons are designed to prick the top surface, to prick mark your leather. They're not very long, and I wanted something that if I wanted to prick all the way through it, I could. Now, to line this beast, I'm going to be using a 1.5mm Auran goat skin from France. This is my favorite color of theirs. I think it's pronounced Lalousie. I think it's gorgeous. You can get both of these leathers from Rocky Mountain Leather Supply, and I will leave that in the description box below. They sell both the Nova Nappa and Auran. I highly recommend them. There's a link in the description box for that. So you may be wondering why I'm actually putting a raising strip in it. As leather ages, it relaxes. It's part of the whole aging of the leather. It will relax over time. Regardless of what leather you use, it will relax over time. So I wanted it to, as it relaxes, to settle around that raising strip to give it a bit more dimension as it ages. You won't see it very much at the beginning, but in a couple of months and in a couple of years you'll see it, and that raising strip will give it more and more dimension. Now, when you're doing a belt and you're using a goat skin for the lining, you have to splice it. And the reason for this is goat skins are not very big. Goat skins are not very long. And even if you cut them diagonally, I think you would still probably struggle to get a belt out of one. Now, I don't make a lot of belts. If you would like me to make one, my information is in the description box below, including my Instagram, and my website. So do get in touch if you would like me to make you a belt, as I do them. Don't do them very often, but I would love to make you one. Now, that's that out of the way. And this is a beast of a belt. If you're wondering what glue I use, by the way, it's from Pro Italia Plus in the UK. It's called EcoSar 16PIU. And it's the glue that I absolutely swear by. It's a water-based adhesive. A latex water-based adhesive, and it is ridiculously strong and has absolutely zero scent at all. There's no smell to it whatsoever. Now, one thing you will notice is I'm creasing it before I stitch it. So I'll crease it. I will prick mark it on the top layer. I'll then glue it together, crease it when it's stuck together, and then stitch it, and then crease it again. And now the reason for this is Nova Nappa takes a crease gorgeously. However, it does fade if you stitch it after you've prick marked it. And you are about to see what took 3 days to do, 3 days of stitching, and then half a spool of thread. There is a reason these belts are expensive, and it's because they are really bloody time consuming. So just take a minute to appreciate that. Now, I'm not obviously showing you all 3 days of stitching because that would be brutal and it would be cruel, and I don't think you would watch it. So I've sped this up 400%. It's 4 times faster, or 400%. I'm not sure which way around that works, but all I know is that my editing software says it's 400% faster, and this is about a quarter of the stitches it actually took. I've cut out a lot because I don't think you would sit through all of this, but I did enjoy it. It was time consuming and it was painful on the hand, but I did enjoy it. If I didn't, I wouldn't have done it. If you'd like to know a little bit more about the dimensions of how I make these raised belts, there is a pattern on my website, and that is in the description box below, so go check that out and it will show you exactly how I put the different layers together. If you're curious, and I know a lot of you will be, this is not 1 arm length's worth of thread. This is, I think I used 5 or 6 arm lengths worth, because if you tried to stitch this all in one constant go without changing thread, I think you'd probably run into more issues than it's worth. So I did 5 or 6 arm lengths, can't remember how many, because when you're pulling them through, each time you pull them through, it puts a little bit of wear onto those threads, obviously, because you're pulling them through a little hole. So it's far better for the thread to use a couple of runs than it is to do one long run. You will get better life out of that thread if you do it this way. The other great thing about lining this with a leather that you like, instead of a leather that's just there for lining, is it means you can reverse it. If you're not in the mood for a brown leather belt one day, flip it over and you have a blue leather belt that day. It makes it so much more utilitarian. You have 2 belts in one. It's brilliant. I love it. When you're creasing, always go in from the corner. So don't push up to the corner, come in from the corner, because if you are creasing a long length and then you push into the corner, you will stretch your leather. Even if you're using a non-stretch backing or fabric or whatever it is, you will still stretch your leather and you won't get a nice corner. So always go in from the corner instead of pushing the corner away from you. When you're edge painting something, anything, especially something like this, bear in mind that you are seeing 1, maybe 2 coats. This took 4 coats because you are very unlikely to get a completely flat edge when you're cutting a strap like this. You will get dips and cracks and crevices and all sorts of delightful things that make your life just a little bit harder. So when you've done your first very thick coat and it has dried entirely, so I think I left this for about 2 hours, get your creasing iron really hot. I think I maxed this out at like 9.5 or 10 or something, and it only goes up to 10. And then pull that edge paint into that crack, because it makes so much difference. And then obviously you're going to spend 3.5 years sanding the bloody thing. But that is unavoidable unless you just want a crappy edge. Or you have a belt sander and you can put the entire thing on that, which does help. But I don't have a belt sander. I don't have space for a belt sander, and I don't really want one. I do enjoy edge painting. I find it quite therapeutic, and I love trying to get that completely flat edge. But if you're just trying to seal your edge just so it's sealed, you don't really need to spend much time on it. It's not really relevant if you're not making something that's hyper luxury. And there we go, guys. We are all done. It's time to snipple. I just said snipple. It's time to snip off all of those threads. Line up the holes, because this buckle has a prong system. is basically a post that sticks through at one end and a loop on the other. I'm measuring this to my old buckle, so it fits me, my old strap, so it fits me perfectly. But this is by far my dream belt, even though I didn't think having a dream belt was even possible. But it is, and this is it. So I am immensely proud of myself for making this. I'm immensely proud of myself for losing 45 kilos in just under a year. So I'm not going to get diabetes anymore. And yeah, that was a fantastic project to make. I really enjoyed it. Let me know if you want to order a belt. My details are in the description box below. Have a phenomenal weekend. Take care, guys.